Tara asked, said, what was one of your favorite road trips you've ever taken?
Tell me about a road trip. I love a good road trip.
Well, I took a road trip way before me and your mama ever got married, and me and two other friends of mine, Jimmy Reed Ross and Ronald West, got on a motorcycle and left Lillington, North Carolina, and just headed to Florida.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you, all three of you on one motorcycle?
Oh, no, we all had a motorcycle.
Okay. You made it sound like all three of you were on one motorcycle.
Oh, no.
How old were you? What are you talking about?
About 18.
Oh, wow.
We just packed up one day and got a couple pair of blue jeans and some shirts and got some stuff and rolled them up and got a sleeping bag and rolled it up and headed to Florida and said, we're going to go all the way to where you live. We're going to get all the way to Los Angeles.
What? Hold on. Florida's not on the way to Los Angeles.
Oh, it is if you're going to go to Florida and go across, then get on Highway 10 and just take your time, because we didn't have enough money just to go to Los Angeles. We had to stop and work and make a little extra money and do some stuff while we were going.
You would get jobs?
Yeah.
What?
We didn't have a lot of money. We probably didn't have $300 to our names when we left.
So what did you do?
I worked at a gas station a couple of times, and as a mechanic and working on cars and doing different stuff.
Where?
I can't even remember. One place was in Georgia, and one place was down in Florida where we stopped and stayed, 3 or 4 or 5 days. And
how do you do that? You just drive up, like I'm going to get. What kind of motorcycle are we talking about?
Well, I had a Honda 554, and the other two boys had Harley Davidsons.
Okay. And you would pull up your Honda 554 up to a gas station to get gas and be like, I can't afford this gas. You mind if I work here for a few days? And they're like, sure. Do you know how to fix stuff? You can be a mechanic too. What? How does that happen?
I didn't just pull up and get gas. I had enough sense to, I had enough money to pay for what gas I was getting, so I wouldn't get shot if I couldn't find something to do. But you could, it was, back then it's kind of like it is now. You go by all these places and it says help wanted.
Oh.
Well, you'd kind of look and see, and they'd have a little sign stuck up there needing some help. And I'd ask them what they needed. And, I told them what I was doing, and they'd let me work a while. But
and they pay you like in cash.
Oh, yeah.
And then you would be like in the breeze. Gone again.
Then be gone again, driving for, 3 or 4 or 5 days. But we made it all the way to Texas. But before we got to Texas, we stopped one night in a park in Louisiana.
Okay.
Took our sleeping bags off and was laid down and it was like a state park or something. And we was laying down sleeping, and me and Jimmy Reed was sleeping pretty close to one another, and Ronald was over to us, and Ronald was a lot. Ronald West was he still was a big boy.
Okay, big boy.
And I'm about 6'4".
Oh.
And we got woke up by a Louisiana highway patrolman.
Uh-oh.
And the words out of his mouth was, do you know where you boys are? And I said, well, I think we're in Louisiana. We're trying to get to Texas.
You didn't even know what state you were in.
He said, well, all I can tell you is we don't allow people that ain't from around here to be sleeping in our parks.
Oh.
And the best thing for y'all to do is get up and be gone from here. Me and Jimmy Reed got up wrapped our sleeping bags around the sickle bar on the back seat
Yeah.
and got what little bit, and we didn't have much. And we left Ronald laying on the ground.
Big boy.
And I looked up in a little while, and you could see a little headlight coming down the road. And me and Jimmy Reed slowed down, and I said, if we let him catch us, he's probably going to beat the hell out of both of us.
You just ditched him.
So we went on down the road, and we finally got into Texas, and we stopped, because we didn't stop before we got to Texas, I'm telling you. And we pulled over, and Ronald finally pulled up, and he says, "I'm going to kill both of y'all."
I thought you were going to tell me that the highway patrol guy, that you were like, well, could you use a little help? I could become a highway patrol for a day or two, you know?
No, but we left and went on into Texas, and I got there, and I stayed about 2 days, and I told Ronald and Jimmy Reed, I said, "Boys, I about had all this," and this has been about 3 months.
3 months?
I said, "Yeah."
It took you 3 months to get to Texas.
Yeah.
Good God, man.
I mean, we stopped and worked and had to make some money to make it where we was going, and had to make money to eat. We got
man, that's amazing. Did you journal?
No. It's all in my head.
I think I knew the answer to that as I was asking it. It's like, every night I would pull out my sleeping bag and my journal. But that's an adventure, Dad. When you did it, did you feel like I'm just grabbing life by the horns, that I'm doing this for the adventure of it? Was it built up in your mind? Or was it just, we'll just go for a road trip. We might find some work along the way. Was it a big deal?
It wasn't really a big deal. It was years later, and like now, it's a pretty big deal to think we were that stupid to leave and not have enough money to make it from 1 week to the next. But hey, that was back in the
70s, you said.
In the early 70s, where you could go and not worry about getting shot, except for maybe by the Louisiana Highway Patrolman or something, or getting locked up.
Did you find any love, like a little bit of romance? Because that's the type of thing. It's like, "Oh, honey, I'm just blowing through town. I'll be here for a few days, and then I'm gonna put it in the wind. My hat don't hang on the same nail too long." You know what I'm saying?
We went to a bar or two, while we was gone, and met a lot of nice people and stuff. But didn't really get hooked up with anybody, because we weren't going to be there long enough to do that. I mean, we had to just kind of keep on getting trucking. It. Yeah.
I love that you did that and that you survived, and Big Boy didn't kill you. No. So when you decided to turn around and come back, they were with that? They were like, "All right, we'll go back too," or did they go on to LA?
Oh, no, they stayed. And as a matter of fact, Ronald West ended up staying and living and working on a ranch out there that had cows and stuff on it.
Really?
For, I think, about 3 years before he ever came back home.
Wow. So do you regret turning around?
No. I was ready to get back and get some good home cooking.
Mm-hmm. Get back to those turnips.
Yeah.
That's wild, Dad. I mean, that's almost hobo. You were almost hoboing it.
Well, sometimes when you're young, you do stuff and
just go with it.
And I ain't never regretted it, so it was a good thing.
That's pretty cool. That's badass.